Don't look at the news. Don't look at the stock market. Look at the piece of paper in your hand. It is February 2026. You are in Arizona. You just bought a Big Mac meal. It cost you nearly $13. 5 years ago, this was lunch. Today, it is an hour of labor for a median wage worker. Since 2021, the price of eggs, basic biological fuel, is up 238%. Coffee is up 53%. Sugar is up 48%. Ground beef is up 40%. And yet, the Federal Reserve claims inflation is 2.4%. They are lying to you. They aren't just massaging the numbers. They are deleting reality. You are living through an economic contraction more severe than the 1930s. But you don't see breadlines. You see credit limits. This is the silent depression, and it was engineered. To understand the theft, you must understand the weapon. The Consumer Price Index, the CPI. It used to measure the cost of living. Now it measures the cost of survival. In 1980, if a steak cost $5 and went to $10, inflation was 100%. Simple, but that was too honest. Honest math bankrupts the government, so they changed the rules. They introduced two tricks, substitution and hedonics. Trick 1, substitution. The Bureau of Labor Statistics argues that you are a rational actor. If steak gets too expensive, you switch to hamburger. If hamburger gets too expensive, you switch to chicken. The CPI tracks your spending, not your standard of living. Because you spent the same amount of money to eat worse food, the government says inflation is zero. They call it consumer choice. We call it caloric downgrade. Trick 2, hedonics. From the Greek word for pleasure, a 2026 car costs $48,000. A 1990 car cost $15,000. The price tripled, but the government says, wait, the new car has Bluetooth, it has lane assist, it has heated seats. They assign a dollar value to that pleasure. They subtract it from the sticker price. Mathematically, they claim the price of the car didn't rise. Try paying the dealer with hedonic pleasure. Try paying with Bluetooth utility. You can't. You pay with dollars. The bank demands $48,000. The government claims it's $20,000. The gap between those numbers is the theft of your labor. If we strip away the fraud, if we calculate inflation using the 1980 methodology before they rigged the ledger, inflation isn't 2.4%. It is 10%. It has been near 10% for 5 years. You haven't lost 20% of your purchasing power since the pandemic. You have lost half. $100,000 in 2026 is the mathematical equivalent of $50,000 in 2010. If you feel poor, it's because you are. But at least we aren't in the Great Depression. Wrong. In the 1930s, the economy collapsed. Deflation. Prices fell. Cash was king. If you had $1, you could buy a city block. In 2026, the currency collapsed. Stagflation. Prices rise. Cash is trash. Let's run the numbers. 1930, the height of the misery. Average annual income was $4,800. Average home price was $3,900. The ratio was 0.8. A factory worker could buy a home with less than 1 year of wages. 1 year, now look at 2026. Median annual income is roughly $56,000. Average home price is $512,800. The ratio is 9.15. It takes 9 years of gross labor to buy the box you live in. Not paying taxes, not eating, just saving. 9 years. This is not a market. It is a prison. Here is the smoking gun. Let's price the American home in the only currency that matters. Gold. In 1930, gold was $20.67 an ounce. The house price of $3,900 divided by gold meant a house cost 188 ounces. In 2026, gold peaked near $5,598 an ounce. The house price of $512,800 divided by gold means a house costs 91 ounces. Do you see it? The house is cheaper today than it was in the Great Depression. It costs half as much gold to buy a home, but you can't afford it. Why? Because your labor isn't worth gold anymore. Your labor is paid in fiat currency that is dissolving in your hands. The house didn't get expensive. The dollar died. So who owns the houses? Not you. While you were arguing about politics, BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard bought the neighborhood. They don't need a mortgage. They pay cash. They aren't buying homes to live in. They are buying yield. Look at Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock. He doesn't want you to have a deed. He wants you to have a token. In his 2025 and 2026 letters, he stopped talking about markets and started talking about tokenization. He said, ledgers haven't been this exciting since the invention of double-entry bookkeeping. Translation, he wants to turn your home into a digital stock ticker. You sell 40% of your equity to pay for surgery. You sell 20% to pay for college. Bit by bit, you become a tenant in your own life. The Federal Reserve holds the door open. February 2026. Jerome Powell keeps rates in the 3.50% to 3.75% range, high enough to kill the individual buyer, low enough to save the banks. He admitted it. He said, the housing market faces really significant challenges. Challenges is code for you are never getting in. They point to the stock market. Look, the S&P is up. The PE ratio is 39.1. That is 2.3 standard deviations above reality. That isn't growth. That is inflation leaking into assets. The rich get asset inflation. You get grocery inflation. The K-shaped recovery is a lie. It's an L-shaped liquidation. How are you surviving? You aren't. You are borrowing. Total credit card debt is $1.28 trillion. It jumped $44 billion in the last 3 months of 2025 alone. The average interest rate is 28%. You are using buy now, pay later for groceries. You are financing a sandwich over 4 installments. This is the behavior of a collapsing society. This is the behavior of debt serfdom. But the job market is strong. Ask the 127,000 tech workers fired in 2025. Ask the 1,000 fired in a single week in February 2026. AI is the planned obsolescence of people. The 6-figure laptop class is being hollowed out. No one is safe. The Great Depression was loud. Starvation. Dust. Riots. The Silent Depression is quiet. It is the silence of a declined credit card. U.S. fertility rates collapsed to 1.62 in 2025. Replacement level is 2.1. This is not a tragedy. It is a balance sheet correction. The population isn't grieving. It is liquidating. They printed $8 trillion. They gave it to BlackRock. They gave you the bill. The price of the house didn't go up. The value of you went down. The liquidation is permanent.